Yeah, can I sit?
You can sit if you like,
I prefer
sure.
to sit. Hello. Hi. Hi, I'm Nick. How are you? Yeah, so what's up? I'm Nick, aka Afrojack, DJ, producer, human being, and I just heard someone's phone's ring, so I'm gonna turn off my phone right now. Yeah, so I'm very excited to talk to you all about all kinds of stuff, and I already talked to some of you upstairs. So we're getting a feeling of direction where we're going. What's up?
Do you want to start with some questions from me, or do you want to?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I don't know how this usually goes. I watched Diplo's let's just call it an episode, but like I don't really like want to like just like, oh well, so then I did this and then I did this and then I did this. Like if you really want to see that, like I've done it in a bunch of interviews before. I really rather try and talk to you from your perspective. If that's okay with you guys.
Yeah, of course. Well, should we take some questions first then?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Please. Hi, there's one very big handed there. What up?
Just wait for the microphone to get to you.
Thank you for coming. I've got a couple questions. So I'm wondering like what got you into DJing originally, and if you recognize there's sort of a bit of animosity between maybe the more underground clubbing scene and what they see as more sterilized, commercial, highly successful EDM artists. Do you feel like there's much, or do you recognize this animosity? Do you care about it at all, or do you feel like there's much art in the performance that you give?
Well, the funny thing about both those questions is like for me they're actually interlinked, because when I started as when I started all the way as a kid, like I just wanted to DJ, so I started playing hip hop and whatever. But then when I really got into music, I was introduced to house music and techno, and that's what I did like the first 2-3 years of my career, and like sometimes even hard techno like Dave Clark and stuff. And we're looking at the animosity between fans, that's very big. But when you look at it between DJs like MK, Loco Dice, Solomon, like they're all friends of mine. So like we're all good with each other from a DJ perspective.
Maybe not just the animosity, but how you feel towards the balance of maybe like a set that some might regard as button pushing or something versus, like you said, starting out with these like house and techno sets in clubs. Well, is it something you even think of? Is it like an issue for you at all, or have you considered it?
So, yeah, if you like diving deeper into the music production aspect of the music industry, when you look at creating a highly successful pop song for millions and millions of people, like that usually requires a lot more strategic thought than take out the kick, put in the kick. And like I made techno music too. I released stuff on Steve Buck's label, I released stuff on Dave Clark's label, and I also like made pop music. And it's a very different experience. And when you're making a pop song, it's like very strategic thinking. It's not like, oh, I like that, let's try it. No, it's like you like it, but the label needs to like it, the people need to like it, the music channels need to like it. It's not like, I am who I am. It's like, I am whatever the people want to hear. When you take the pop.
Do you see yourself as more of a musical producer than a DJ?
I am what I like whenever I feel like it. So if I want to make techno, I make techno. If I want to make pop, I make pop. When you look at the DJ aspect of things, like people calling I have to say though, there are some people that always play the same set and always just do exactly the same thing. I started off as a DJ with 4 CDJs always. So I'm very used to looping, doing everything manually, not using record books, etc., etc. But the thing is, like eventually, if you're a very good DJ, no one will hear if it's pre-mixed, if you're doing it live, or if you're doing like everything you can imagine live, you know? Like if you listen to a band and they're really, really good, they will sound like the record isn't live. So it's like, what do you want? It's kind of like if you really want to do it well, you have to make some mistakes, because then people hear like, oh, it's real.
So you're against the use of pre-recorded sets within these massive
No, I'm not.
EDM
Like if you want to use a pre-recorded set, it's fine. But like, of course, like some fans will say like, oh, it's fake.
But you don't care about that aspect of the performance with the audience and interaction to like a pre-recorded set?
If you want to play a pre-recorded set, you can play one. I don't like doing it because it's very boring. Like I make I only make edits. I never put in a mix and just stood there for an hour. But I make edits. So like you have a 3-minute edit of something and you just like you just wait for the mashup to finish. But that gets very, very boring. The only reason I started doing it is because when you're playing Tomorrowland, the crowd is expecting to be entertained. So like, clap your hands, take the microphone, hell yeah, woo! But you can't do that if you're like mixing a very complicated 3-deck mashup. So
how do you like find that balance then? Like, do you just determine whether the crowd wants the jump up and like woo, or?
Well, you look and you decide. But that's like when I do like a lot of shows, like at one point I'm like, okay, so I'm out here stressed, like for 5 minutes, stressed to make the perfect mashup. Well, if I just sit in my computer for a second and I just emulate what I did and then export it as an MP3 of a mashup, the crowd will have exactly the same experience, and I can take more time to watch the crowd reaction, take the microphone, talk to them, do more crowd interaction, and at the same time make a better decision for the next record versus being stressed to make that mashup and then forgot I don't have a next record. Because that happened before. I was so busy making like a cool thing, and then the record ended and I was like, oh crap, I forgot to select another record. How you guys doing? Make some noise. You know?
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. My name is Daniel. I'm from Las Vegas, so your show is literally the first electronic music show I've ever seen. So Thank you very much. My question is pretty simple. It's where do you, like, what sources do you use to find new music? Like, what is emerging, and what do you recommend that we sort of listen to who's sort of new and hot? Like, besides you, obviously.
Wait, so you're asking me how I found new music,
Yeah,
or what
how do
I would
you find,
recommend to you?
Yeah, how do you find new music? Just on a daily basis or over time?
Well, since personally I still like house and techno a lot, I always check Beatport. Still, ever since they started. Like, if you just want to listen to chill music, like Spotify playlists are on point. Like, they're on point. Like Sunday chill. Oh wow, this is very loungy, you know, like beast mode. Actually, I use it also as inspiration for my DJ sets because it completely changes the perspective of what people are expecting of a festival. Of course, like, I've been going to festivals for 15 years, but maybe someone's going for the first time. And then if you can implement some sounds of more familiar playlists, it becomes like an interesting approach to whatever that person's constant music experience is.
Cool, thank you.
Can we go to the gentleman in the front?
Hey.
Hi, thanks for coming. Thanks. Hi again. You've worked with quite a lot of artists. Which artists do you think you enjoyed most working with?
Yeah, they're all cool. Yeah, it's like it won't be a life-changing answer, you know. Like, all the artists I work with were pretty cool. Some are very particular, very interesting personalities. Like Mark Anthony's very cool, very jumpy, fast, loud, but also very, very nice. But like, I can like name a list of artists I work with and like be very cool about it. But I think the thing they most have in common, that's what I think like everyone always wants to know, is like what makes these artists. They're all usually neutral, especially the very successful ones. So if you look at like a hype artist right now that's just on the come up or just getting like his first few songs, they think they invented the wheel. It's terrible, absolutely terrible to work with. They're like, yeah, that's hot, right? And yeah, we'll drop it and this and that happened. But it's just because they're riding the flow of culture, the cultural wave. Of course, I used to have it also with EDM. Like, everyone was on EDM. It didn't matter what you do. It's like, yeah, EDM. So when you look at the world-renowned artists that have been doing it for infinity, Jennifer Lopez, Enrique Iglesias, Mark Anthony, Pitbull, who else? Maroon 5. You look at the team like Max Martin, the producers behind it, you look at Sia, you look at all the big management companies, you look at all the big managers, the big songwriters. They're all neutral. They don't think about like, they don't have, like, they put their ego to the side. So to me, those are the artists that are most fun to work with because it reminds me to be better than I am and stop trying to claim I have some lucky talent or whatever.
Thank you. Just wanted to touch on that. So when it comes to collaborating with people, and you've done that a lot, how do you decide initially who you want to work with and what kind of talent you want to work with? Is it a commercial thing or is it based on their ability, how well you get on?
It's both.
Both, all.
Yeah, so sometimes you work with people because it's great for business, and sometimes you work with people because you want to. But of course, I've been lucky enough to build my life into the music industry. So when you're just getting started in the music industry, you're probably going to have to choose a segment initially to work with. Like for me, I figured out a way to like develop artists, make a label, release music, make my own music, write my own music. Like I've been able to do all sorts of things. So for me, when I get to choose who I want to collaborate with, I can work with a new hot artist, I can work with an unknown artist that I personally like, I can work with this new producer that knows how to mix, or I can work with one of those big artists. And they're all to my availability, but like, I had an answer upstairs earlier, we had like a little meet and greet, and they said like, oh, you like producing more or DJing? It's like, you like chicken or pancakes? Sometimes you want to eat chicken, sometimes you want to eat pancakes, sometimes you want to eat pizza. And as long as you're okay with that, you're going to be a lot more comfortable than bounding yourself to one certain thing. Also, I've been producing a lot of different styles of music over my whole life. And I recently, like 2 days ago, I put on Twitter, like, what do you guys want to see of me like in the future? So I could define my fans. And literally like every style I ever did got the same amount of percentage of tweets. So like my pop songs, my techno songs, my trap songs, my hip hop songs, like everything had the same. So basically keep doing everything. Oh, that's very handy. And then also another example of how I make those choices. This is not really an example of how I make those choices, but one time I did a Billboard article at the height of EDM, and I said, I'm not EDM. But I literally gave the woman the example. It's like, yo, if you like chicken, that does not mean you are chicken. You know, I love EDM. It's a very big part of my life, but I also love hip hop. And when I go to the club and like I'm drunk and Take On Me by Aha comes on, I will sing along. When it comes on the radio, you will turn it up too. Like if you don't like that song, put your hands up. See? You know? I'm pretty sure I could play it on Tomorrowland for like a minute and people would like, oh, okay, that's fine. I actually did it in a lot of clubs, especially in Las Vegas. I played a lot. So, like, you know?
Yeah.
Be free. Be free not to...
Define yourself with any one genre, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but be free not to define yourself or confine, what's the word?
Confine, yeah, I think we could use that.
Don't bound yourself to an earlier decision you make. If you say you eat chicken now, that does not mean you have to eat chicken the rest of your life. Tomorrow you can eat pancakes, it's fine. No one will sue you.
You've mentioned that you've played music all over the world, in the States, Asia and Europe. Do you find there's a cultural gap between those places that means you have to prepare like a slightly different set for each place? Or do you feel that you can play the same sort of music everywhere and it doesn't really matter?
It was very much the same like 5 to 10 years ago. So everywhere in the world, everyone like was listening to the same music. This was also because Spotify just came up and music was like freely distributed over the internet. Right now, the music industry got its grip back on music, so now it's very easy when you go to YouTube to find Drake's new single. It won't work because it's blocked on copyright grounds. Yeah. So this has started happening more and more. So you really notice when you go to America, you better play some hip hop in your set if you want people to have a good time. But if you go to Asia, everyone wants EDM and hard trap. If you go to Australia, everyone's fluming out and going hard on like lounge, future bass, crossover stuff.
What do you play in Britain? What do you play in Britain?
House. Yeah, that's the thing about Britain. Like you have a rave culture background, so everyone's very familiar with. Like most of you know Chase and Status, right? So that's like for me, it's very interesting because around the world they're not very big, but here in Britain, that sound is still very much alive. And it's funny because like if you look at the concept of garage, it's called UK garage around the world. I don't know if you guys call it UK garage, but in the world they call it UK garage.
I think we just call it garage.
Yeah, but that style you can always implement in any new form of production. And that's also when you listen to English pop music And rap culture, grime, it's very heavy influenced by the old rave culture. So I think that's also why you have so many DJs from England, and just like in Holland.
You've been in the industry for 10 years now, and you've achieved quite a lot in that time. Is there anything else, any other goals that you think you want for Afrojack, or is it just to keep doing the same thing? No.
Actually, I've been very busy right now, like stabilizing for the next. I've been stabilizing for the next period of my life. But yeah, Afrojack's fine. Like that's why I said, like I want to keep my fans happy. I want to keep DJing. I just want to do what I do, and enjoy my life. But I've been recently reading a lot of books. I've always been interested in psychology and figuring out why what happens. And that really changed my life personally and gave me a lot of space for movement personally.
Can we take any more questions from the audience?
Do you choose?
Yeah, second row.
Hi, thanks for coming, Afrojack. I had a question. I was a big fan of your first tracks with all the chopped vocals kind of stuff, the one you released with Major Lazer on their first album.
Yes.
And I had one first question. What are your views on the DJ Snake kind of chopped vocals? Because it's a very different from what you were doing. And maybe a second question. Would you at some point consider going back to the more underground stuff you were doing at the beginning, especially with the Barong family kind of productions, We Wake and this kind of producers?
Cool. So I love the DJ Snake chopped up vocals. I think they're cool songs, and it re-inspired it for me to start doing it again. So if you listen to my last, I did like a club album called Press Play like over the summer, which is sort of more reminiscent of that stuff. But like I said, I asked my fans, what do you guys want? And some people want that, some people want the pop stuff, some people want hip hop. And that's actually, I did a remix for Kanye West and Lil Pump, I love it. And that's sort of like that style you're talking about. I think it's coming out soon. Cool.
Go to a second question. Yeah. Just put your hand up for the mic.
Hi, my name is Raisha. I was curious on if you can recall any childhood experience that was instrumental in kind of changing or bringing you today, or if it like wielded you along the way.
Can you be more specific?
Okay.
That got me where?
Should I repeat the question?
No, but me be more specific. You say like something that happened in my childhood that got me to where I am now, but where am I now?
So I guess maybe in like the music industry, or
like a moment that like taught me like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, I never expected to be like speaking in places and like DJing big festivals around the world, but the moment I decided to get involved in the nightlife and the dance music industry, I was in a club, like a big house club called Now a While back in Rotterdam. I was like 15, and I saw like, I think 3,000 people dancing to house music, and everyone was in tune with the music. So I came from the subway, like I took the subway, I get there, I walk outside, you got society around you. Society, he's fat, he's skinny, he's tall, he's small, he's rich, he's poor, yada, yada, yada. Everyone goes inside and everyone's chilling and having fun and listening to the same music and just like happy. So I'm there for like 4 hours enjoying everything, understanding the music, like no drugs, no alcohol. I didn't have money for any of that kind of stuff. I never did any drugs. So it's like my music experience was purely music. And watching society change from the moment they find a common ground. And I went back outside and everyone was back to their bullshit. So I'm like, wait, so you put 3,000 people in a very small area and you put on some music, they're all very happy. And it doesn't matter where you're from, how you look, etc. It's just like, oh yeah, I love this song. Wow, me too, let's be friends. And then from the moment the music stops, like people get back to like conscious society and start fighting. So I'm like, well, why would I spend my life in that society if I can be over here? So from that moment on, like I was already DJing and doing music and stuff, but from that moment on, like, yeah, okay, so I choose this life. And I was very lucky that my mom supported me in the choice. She looked at me like I was crazy, but she let me do it. That's also, by the way, I have like an artist development company now, collaboration with Japanese management company called LDH. And I'm the head of LDH Europe, and that's basically built to give people that same support that don't have that support. Because I can imagine how difficult it must be to follow your passion if your family says you are not allowed to follow your passion. It's like, we're there to like financially guide those people and also maybe try to make the parents understand. Because I'm a firm believer, if you do what you love, you will be great at it. And if you do something you don't love, you will probably suck. And if you will believe everyone around you, you're going to be very unhappy the rest of your life.
And how do you go about connecting with those people? So do they apply or do you scout them?
Right now we have a remix contest going on. And before that we did vocal battle auditions. And they weren't televised, so there's no...
pressure?
There's no pressure. Like there's no pressure, you know? So you come, you do the audition, and eventually I like watched 1,500 videos of people singing. And now we have, out of that, 6 artists that are signed, and they're in a training program. Like they get a small salary, they get the best training, the best vocal coaching, the best dance training, etc., etc., etc. So, yeah, that's fun. That's like my hobby right now, is like give people opportunities and turn it into careers and also turn it into business while keeping the essence of the dream and the passion very much alive.
Is there anyone you're working with now like that you're particularly excited about?
Everyone that I signed, else I wouldn't sign them. Like the passion and the work ethic is surreal. Disto, Chico Rose, Chesner, Vice. Vice is like one of the first successful examples of, is the first singer I ever signed. And his first song went like multi-platinum worldwide and it got like 300-400 million streams. Which is, I'm very proud of that. Especially because it's like I said it was possible, like theoretically it was possible, but I didn't prove it yet. So like I said, I'm a firm believer of anyone following their passion. When it's real, you can define it into a career if you have the right support and the right experience behind it. And then when we started pushing Vice, it actually happened. So I was like, yeah, I knew this would happen. Yeah, no, of course, everything's under control. So that's how that started.
Should we go to another question?
Hey.
Can we go to the hand right at the back?
Hello, I'm Peter.
Hi.
So I would be interested in, you said that you want to enjoy life, but then how do you actually make friends in the sense that everyone knows you? How do you get to know people in the sense that they already know you somewhat? And leading on from that, we all know the story of Avicii. He was like very famous and surely had a lot of money and stuff and followers, etc. But he still committed suicide in the end. So how do you relate to that and what do you think about that?
So again, like personal happiness is very dependent on each person. That's why I'm saying like it's so important you follow your passion and you're able to define your passion, not necessarily by words, but by feeling. Like I said, when you're talking about the chicken and pancake situation, that's actually like the most important thing there is, because once you get defined by the people around you as chicken because you ate chicken once and you get a lot of money, so society tells you are successful, everything around you is telling you like, yo man, you're so good chicken, you're like the best chicken in the world, you're such a good like chicken maker or whatever. That it, like in your head, your conscious is telling you like, yo man, like we're doing so well with chicken, but do I love chicken? That's like your subconscious saying like, yo, what are you doing? You hate chicken, why are you doing chicken? It's an accident. But then your conscious telling you, yeah, well, this is what life and people and society and education tells you is success. So if this is a successful life and you're not appreciating it, you are ungrateful. So you're a bad person. That's like the cycle that goes into it psychologically. Sorry. So that's why I keep saying, and that's the only reason why I came here today. I'm not here to tell you about like, oh yeah, sign to my label, oh, buy my new record. I don't have a new record. I don't have any plans. I have a lot of dope records, don't worry. But I'm not here to promote anything. The only reason I'm here is exactly these kind of things that are very common misconceptions in life, that certain paths will lead you to success while they don't. I think it's getting more and more evident, like if you look at press, if you look at politics, if you look at society in general, everything that's happening is more and more making less and less sense. If you look at social media, you're like, do I really want to post this selfie? Or am I just doing this because I don't have anything better to do? So like social media, I'm not here like social media is bad. No, like I'm on it sometimes. But when you're completely honest about what you're doing on your Instagram, isn't it because of lack of better spending your time? So don't fall into that. By the way, Tim was a very good friend of mine, and I never speak in interviews about him or anything, because there's so many people that didn't know him that claim to know him. And it's kind of disgusting to see people talk about your friend if he was like a certain way in public while he never liked the spotlight. So that's the only thing I'm gonna say about him. But yeah, the general situation is like, I really want more people to know how life actually works. And it doesn't work the way society tries to paint it or social media tries to paint it. 100 likes on your picture will not get you happy. They will get you looking for 110 likes. 50,000 likes on your picture won't get you happy. You will looking for 100,000 likes. Kim Kardashian isn't happy when she posts a picture and she gets 1.5 million likes because it's not as good as the 3 million likes. So apparently you're constantly getting, how you say, reintroduced to your own failures of life. Well, like it's not. It's just like technology is not, it's not built for humans in that case, in that way. It's probably more complicated than that, but like I didn't think about it really. I'm just thinking about this for the first time now. Sorry, yes.
Can we take that?
Sorry, guy with the hat. No, you. Don't look back at you. Yes, hey.
Hi, thanks for coming. So what sort of things do you do to avoid burning out in general in your work? And also, have you ever thought about taking any breaks, either in the future or like in the past, but then you decided not to for some reason?
So, I got lucky that when I was very young, I realized I didn't get life. Not, like, I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to kill myself, but I was definitely like, like if it's really this, like it's gonna be a very shitty life. I don't know if I want that. But I didn't think beyond that. So this was when I was 14, 15. Then I started getting, I was accidentally introduced to the subject of psychology through some people that gave like a lecture at school. And this was the first time I heard life might not be how you think it is. And then I started looking at everything without the way I've been brought up, but in a more neutral way. And I started realizing all the life strategies I've been learned or I've been taught were like completely off and usually got me the opposite of what I actually wanted to achieve. So that really inspired me to learn more and become better at life and to do more with life. And then when you're talking about the burning out and stuff, the reason you can't have a burnout unless a doctor tells you you have a burnout, right? What's like to be defined as a person having a burnout, you need a doctor telling you that. Am I right? This is the way the world works? Or can I walk out the hallway right now and decide for myself I'm having a burnout? So technically, society has rules for you're burned out, you're overworked, you're over tense, they call it in Holland, I think. I don't know, whatever. So having a burnout is a definition of being overworked. But it also has a lot to do with internal psychology. Like, I never went to see a doctor. I never went like, yo man, I'm so tired, I think I might be having a burnout. Because I always thought like, well, if I work too much, I should just work less. If I feel like shit, like I'm doing everything I do by choice. If you ever hear a DJ saying, oh yeah, touring life is so hard, okay, shut up, go work at McDonald's. See if that's nice, you know? So I never allowed myself to be defined as having a burnout, but I am 99% sure I had a lot of times where I was like getting dizzy of not getting sleep. Like I said, I never did drugs, but I know that like a lot of people do. I can't imagine doing this life with drugs and all the crazy stuff. And again, like for me, even doing it sober, or like I had a drink every now and then, but like not doing any of the crazy stuff, it's psychologically very draining because there is no set way on how to feel about being confronted with 10,000 people that came to see you, and then you go back to your hotel room and you're all alone. It's like, well, I think like it's nice that you at least got to see 10,000 people. Sometimes people go like for work somewhere and they're all alone in the hotel room all week, which will probably be even more terrible. Any case, what I'm saying, like I've been in hotel rooms crying on the phone with my mom and manager, saying I want to go home, and eventually I chose not to. No one can force you to do anything you don't want. Like, literally. You can allow yourself to get forced, but you can't, no one can force you to do something you really don't want to do. Of course you can play you got forced to, because it will get you in a more comfortable position, so it's not your fault. It will like take the edge off, but eventually it's your own decision and choice what you do. It's like if you look at Hardwell right now, he took a break and everyone's like, oh my God, that's so great and that's so smart, or that's so sad, or whatever. Like, if you want a break, take a break. So like, I'm happy for him. I'm happy he wanted to take a break and he didn't feel pressured not to, you know? But like, people will always have their own vision of your decisions, but they will never have the same feelings as you because they will never be in the same position as you. So if you ask someone else for their opinion on your problem, they will always give an outside perspective, because like all the variables, like it's impossible for you to tell all the variables of your situation to another person. It will take you like a week to brief them on the situation, and then they still wouldn't have the same, how you say, the same way. They would be brought up in a different way, so that would bring them to a different decision on your situation. So, like, end of the day, it's all on you, and it's your choice on what you do with it. And for me, it was the same thing. Like, when I had moments I wanted to quit, when I had moments I wanted to do something else, I made very clear choices, and they were always supported by, and that's why I'm saying I'm lucky. I had a mom that supported me no matter what I did. So if I say, I'm gonna go right, like I'm gonna go right all the way right, and I'm going right for 2 weeks, and she's like, yeah, go right. I'm like, okay, today I'm going left though. She'll say, yeah, but you just went right for 2 weeks. Yeah, but I wanna go left. Oh, okay, go left. And that always gave me I think that gave me more power to make these decisions and not get thrown off by concepts of society or that kind of stuff.
We go to the next question. Yeah, coming here to the hand there with the headphones on.
You mentioned kind of the way that society's kind of setting those boundaries for success, and that can kind of lead to perhaps an unhealthy relationship for the artist in terms of wanting to really express themselves. But kind of DJing to a large extent is responding to the needs of the crowd. And you mentioned that you kind of have that survey from your fans looking at kind of what they want from you next. So how do you see it as the artist responding to the needs of the crowd, responding to the needs of their fans, as well as them wanting to express themselves? How do you kind of navigate that relationship?
Like I said, sometimes it will take a week to define all variables, because like you said, it's a lot of different things. There's also me personally, like, do I really want to go this direction? But I think like the most important thing with those kind of situations where it's so many variables, it's almost undefinable, I don't know how you say it. Like, just go with the flow. And that's for me. When I saw all that stuff, I was like, okay, so I did like 90 different things. I want to like more figure out what I'm going to do next year. So out of these 90 things that I did, what do you guys want? And 90 different people say all 90 different things. It's like, okay, well, that like basically means I have no information at all. And what do you do when you have no information at all? You follow your heart. Because if you try to, like that's the thing, like there's no secret answer. It's not like someone wrote down a secret tip or secret in a book somewhere. It's like I hidden the secret of life here in one of these books. It's up to you find out. No, it's not there. So when you're DJing, like you gotta pay attention. You gotta remember the crowd. Like when I played Tomorrowland, I prepared a whole set. But if I make a mistake, if I forget a record, which actually happened a couple of times, my production team was very weirded out about me missing a record with like 3 pyro cues and special effects. But eventually you have to keep into account you're playing in front of 100 people, 500 people, 10,000 people, 50,000 people, 100,000 people. And there's people watching on a stream. And that stream will get broadcasted for the next year and will get millions of views. What do? Who are you playing for? It's very complicated. So you better like prepare and prepare for all possible outcomes. Prepare for when the music stops. If the music stops or the sound dies, what do? Like that's the thing, like if I'm up there and the music stops because all the electricity falls out, the mic doesn't work, nothing works, what do? Those 50,000 people don't think, oh, technical difficulties. No, they think it's a shitty DJ. It's your fault. So always be like when it comes to your craft, always go like worst case scenario, best case scenario. What do you do if a UFO lands? Now you don't have to have the answer to that, but you should be ready to expect the unexpected and be comfortable enough with your own decisions and with your own gut to follow it when it comes, because then it will be natural and people respect people. People don't respect cover-ups. So if like something goes wrong, it's like, I'm so sorry guys, my tour manager pulled the cable, like that's not a very respected response. Say like, yo, I messed up or something went wrong, but it doesn't matter. We came here to party, so we're going to continue the party. That's a mindset everyone agrees on. And that's real from me, and that's real from them. So instead of trying to blame the problem, always just be real and get to the gist of it, which is let's have a good time as fast as possible, as long as possible again. Sorry, long answer.
Go to the next question. Go back to the front.
So about kind of this contingency planning, how much of this about kind of the scenario planning basically that you just described?
Yes.
Does that actually happen in practice, that for these very big shows you kind of make decisions, okay, if the first 10 minutes go like that and the crowd goes wild, I can continue that path and go and play like that? Or if the mood is a bit so la, I kind of need to play that and that to basically pick it up again. Does that happen?
Well, I've been DJing since I was 14, so 17 years, and I played weddings, I played clubs with 5 people. Like I played like Tomorrowland main stage, so like I've seen everything. So when I prepare my set, I'm pretty sure it'll work for like the most part. But like yeah, if I prepare a set and I'm playing for 15 minutes and like every crowd reaction was like, yeah, maybe put out the live fest and stuff and like start doing what you do, which is DJing, freestyling, and then you figure it out. But it's like very difficult. Like I said, you have a stream, so people will judge you based on that stream for a very long time, and they might not understand the setting or the crowd that was there. So they're very interesting. When I play Ultra Miami, I play a lot more hip hop and trap stuff because there's a lot of Americans. And while when I play Tomorrowland, I play only EDM because there's a lot of Europeans. And then I go online and I look at the Miami people, and like all the people on YouTube are like, yeah, why are you playing so much hip hop and trap? And then I go onto Tomorrowland stream and they say like, why are you playing so much EDM? Play more trap. It's like, it's impossible to figure that out. So like I said, end of the day, the only way you can prepare yourself for that stuff is to always be real and do some cool stuff and have cool stuff as a backup. But like I said, I've been DJing for a very long time, and I have a very extensive record collection when I show up at these places. So worst case scenario, I can usually find something cool. And if it doesn't work, I can always play Aha, Take On Me.
Sure, yes.
Go to the next question. Yeah, can we have the lady in the front?
Thank you for coming. And so the point that you made earlier about the chicken and pancake, that when people have some achievement in chicken and people around them will say, well, you're so good at this, and you kind of start to think that you might want to live up to what people around you think that you should be. And then also like, there's also this contrast between you're in the spotlight and when you come back. So sometimes it does happen that people feel lost. So just like, have you ever felt kind of like lost in your career? Like, is this what I actually want to do? And if you have, then what kind of logic and strategy brought you back to, okay, now I know this is what I actually want to do?
I have to remember the beginning of your question. Yeah, to start off. So yeah, I've been lost before, and I found myself. But the thing is, like, well, we should all remember, especially like you guys, like you're at like a very, very notorious education system right here. Like, a very important thing to remember is that you're not the first one to wonder. There's been many of people before that wondered, what do I want? Why do I want it? Etc., etc., etc. So then if you start Googling this, you get to all kind of psychological, neuroscientific studies about how ones define what makes them happy. How could you define what makes you happy? You look at philosophy, there's been people like asking this since, I don't know since what year, but like a long time. So you're not alone. And for me to redefine it or to understand my own psychology, and which is of course very important because like you think for yourself, I can't think for you, you can't think for me. Like that really changes the game because it gives you a lot more understanding. So I would suggest to anyone that is very busy being the chicken and might think about switching to the pancake, first like try to define you and then accept you. Because don't get me wrong, by the way, it's very, very scary. Like I was lucky that it wasn't that scary for me because my mom supported me. But if you look at, like if you have parents that say you will pancake and you have everyone around you and all the families you grew up around and all your friends, they're all pancakes, everyone's pancake, but you really want chicken, that's kind of scary. But I have a very good example for this. I have more than chicken and pancakes. I also have pizza and salads. So, yeah, I'm gonna get into this right now. So, say you love pizza, but pizza's fattening, pizza's unhealthy, pizza will clog your arteries, pizza will kill you. Salad is cool, salad is healthy, salad is like hype, salad gets a lot of likes on Facebook and Instagram, salad this, salad that. So you out there and you love pizza, but you're like, like you post pizza picture on Instagram, you get 10 likes. Post another one, pizza, 10 likes. Then one day you're like, you know what? Today I'm gonna eat a salad because I've seen so many people eating salad and like, I'm gonna try it out because I wanna be more popular. So you post the salad and you get 100 likes. You're like, oh, wow. I'm gonna post more salad. And then like 2 weeks later of salad, like you made all these salad friends. Everyone's salad this, salad that. You're the head of the group salad chat. You get 2,000 likes per salad picture. You're starting like, wow, I'm getting this business. I'm starting a salad empire. At one point you become the king of salads on Instagram. There must be someone with the title, right? It's pretty funny. Any case, at king of salads. You get 100,000 likes per picture and like you're constantly talking about how healthy gluten-free life is, etc., etc., etc. And you're like 30 years old, 35 years old, and you're like the head of the salad company and you got like $100 million. Like, yeah, I got it. And yet you're wondering, I just wish I met my true love. Like it's like I still didn't find it. And you're like thinking there, like, I'm so sad. Like I have everything, but I'm still not happy. So you go to eat, and you have this place in New York. You have this salad place, and right next to it is a pizza place. And you're standing there, like you get out of the taxi, and you meet a girl. You're like, wow, this girl is like oh my God, oh, of course you already know where I'm going now. But you're like, this girl, she's so beautiful and she's like mind-blowing, blah, blah, blah. And like, you wanna go get a salad? It's like, nah, I'm more of a pizza girl, but nice to meet you. And like, maybe that was just the person that would be your soulmate in everything. She loves pizza, she loves video games, she loves house music, she loves Take On Me too. Sometimes she eats pancakes, it's like, well, she's just as crazy as me. But you just like diminish the whole situation because you lied about what you actually are. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Like, if you love pizza, you will be a lot happier getting 20 likes on pizza and meeting your pizza boyfriend or your pizza girlfriend and eating pizza while watching Titanic on a Saturday night in your small house versus being very rich and successful with a salad wife, eating salad in your salad mansion, in your Saladagini, whatever, you know? So, and it's scary. It's scary to be real. But that's what I learned eventually that gets you success. Like what gets me success on tour and in my life is being able to do what I want when I want it. To be sitting here, not having to worry about saying something wrong, you know? Like I used to have that fear of saying something wrong. Oh, maybe I might jeopardize my career. Like I don't care about my career anymore. I used to. Of course, I still like it. I'd rather continue what I'm doing, but I will not let it dictate my life. Just because I ate chicken yesterday does not mean I can guarantee you guys I will eat chicken tomorrow. Maybe I'll make a jazz album tomorrow. Probably not, but like I will definitely do what I feel like. That's why I'm saying like that's the answer to your question somewhere in there, I hope. Did I clarify it? Or?
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Because I completely forgot your question now.
I think we have time for one last question, so should we go to the hand at the back?
Was this 50 minutes, really?
Yeah.
Can we do more? I don't get to talk to a lot of people.
Thanks for being here. I was listening to No Beef on the train yesterday, timeless song, by the way. I just wanted to get your take on like the future of electronic music in general, outside of trance, which has been pretty popular. Each kind of subgenre has kind of had a peak in popularity. So I was just curious on what your thought of like the next big trend will be, and just going further along in the future, like what electronic music will look like.
I'm not in a position to define what the next big trend will be, but I definitely feel like when I'm DJing that like the trap is still making a come up, like the 140, 150 BPM stuff. Hardstyle is gaining more notoriety during regular like EDM sets. Like it's like small peaks. People starting to learn more and be more comfortable with themselves being more variable. So it's like the whole chicken and pancake thing is like really becoming sort of the norm in music too. So you see a lot, like if you see Armin like play trance, sometimes he plays trance, sometimes he plays like EDM trance, like I don't know, some weird hybrid version. And it's the same thing if you look at EDM. Like I have a psytrance record in my set list, like for the big festivals. I'm not a psytrance artist at all, but like it works once for me. It's cool, and for me personally, that's like the coolest thing about EDM for the future. People are more and more stopping to be purists. That's like the thing that kind of saddens me when you look at techno and house, that everyone's supposed to be super open-minded, but they automatically denounce anything that's not techno or not cool enough. It's like, how underground do you want to go? Like if you like Solomon's commercial techno because there's a lot of music in it, then you go more underground to Richie Hawtin, who's like very industrial and very minimal and very about sound design, which with some, mostly almost no melody. Then Sven Väth because it's psychedelic. Then Nicholas Jarre because it's the art of noise. And then you have this crazy Japanese guy just going like, it's called like, I forgot what it's called, something to do with noise. But like, at one point, like, people just going to be like ambient. It's like, how underground do you want to be? So if you let go of the underground part, and that's the funny thing, all DJs are friends. It's not like a DJ won't befriend another DJ because, oh no, you're too underground or you're too commercial. That's why I actually feel bad for people that have to deal with these kind of purists. It's like, you're not allowed to make anything outside of techno. And then if you're a techno artist and you're only producing techno because of fear of losing your fans if you produce something more poppy or hip hop, that like, it's very funny how if you're a techno producer and you make a pop song, they say you're selling out. Well, the biggest form of selling out is not making a pop song because you're afraid of losing your career as a techno producer because it's uncool because you produced a pop song. So then you define your choice based on what other people are thinking and fear. So like, which one of the two is selling out? If you feel like making a pop song, make a pop song, you know? So I hope for the future that everyone will become more open-minded and more adult. But I see it happening already, so that's pretty cool, I think.
Okay, can everyone join me in thanking Afrojack for being with us all today?